We spend so much time looking outside of ourselves, trying to control, trying to fix, trying to attract from a place of fundamental lack. We chase external validation, believing that if we acquire the perfect partner, the ideal job, or the highest status, then we will finally be worthy. But what if I told you that the entire process of manifesting your best life is not an external strategy, but an internal shift? It's about moving from chasing to magnetizing. Your entire being is an electromagnetic field. Every repetitive thought you hold is an electric charge, a clear intention. And every sustained emotion you feel is a magnetic charge, the energetic pull. If you are constantly thinking thoughts of "I'm not enough" and feeling emotions of fear, anxiety, or neediness, you are broadcasting a low-level frequency into the quantum field. And the universe, which is designed to meet your energy, can only match that scarcity. The true art of loving yourself first is simply the act of achieving personal coherence. This is when the thoughts in your magnificent brain align with the elevated feelings in your powerful heart, when you consciously choose to move out of the survival emotions, the impatience, the competition, the fear, and into elevated emotions like gratitude, joy, and profound, unconditional self-respect. You literally change your magnetic signature. When you move into this state of wholeness, the energy you emit no longer says, "I need you to complete me." Instead, it says, "I am already complete." You become the person you want to attract before they ever show up. You become the abundance you desire before it manifests in your bank account. You stop trying to manipulate the outer world, and you start being the frequency of the inner world. The work is simple, but it requires conscious, daily effort. It is the meditative process of closing your eyes, putting your hand on your heart, and rehearsing the feeling of your future self. Practice the feeling of being completely worthy, completely loved, and completely whole, not waiting for the evidence, but generating the feeling. When you do this, your life stops being a frantic search and starts becoming a magnetic masterpiece. You draw in everything you need, the right opportunities, the right people, and the synchronicity you require, because you are finally being the love, the worth, and the energy you wish to receive. That is how you master the art of loving yourself first, and that is how you magnetize your best life. The most profound truth we can grasp about our reality is this: we are not merely physical beings floating passively in a static world. We are walking, talking energetic dynamos, constantly interacting with a field of infinite potential, the quantum field. This field is the foundation of all reality, and it is waiting for a signal from you. Your signal is your vibration, your frequency, and it is meticulously engineered by the partnership between your thoughts and your feelings. This is where we begin the mastery, by understanding that every single human being possesses an electromagnetic field that is dictating every event, every circumstance, and every relationship that shows up in their life. Consider the mind. Your mind, through the constant firing of neurons, is the electrical generator. Every time you hold a thought, an intention, a memory, a plan, you are sending out an electrical charge. This is the electric broadcast of your being. If you spend your day focused on lack, on past traumas, on anxieties about the future, your electrical charge is scattered, chaotic, and weak. You are sending mixed, incoherent signals into the field, and the field responds with confusion and resistance. This is why striving from a place of fear is always met with more effort and less result. The electrical signal of want is a scattered frequency, but that is only half of the equation. The electrical intention must be paired with the magnetic draw. This magnetic field is generated primarily by your heart, the most significant source of electromagnetic energy in the human body. Your heart is the feeling center, the organ that translates your emotions into measurable magnetic waves that extend meters beyond your physical form. If you live in survival mode, in fear, in anger, in frustration, in resentment, you are magnetically attracting experiences that give you more reason to feel those very same survival emotions. These low-level emotions produce a compressed, chaotic, and low-frequency magnetic field. You are literally pulling problems toward yourself because you are magnetically programmed to experience them, validating the story of your lack. The great work, the true mastery of self, lies in achieving coherence. Coherence is the synchronization of the electrical charge, see your clear intention, your thought with the magnetic charge, your elevated emotion, your heart's feeling. When your mind is focused on the life you desire, a life of health, abundance, and love, and your heart is simultaneously feeling the gratitude, the joy, and the worthiness of that future reality in the present moment, something truly miraculous occurs. Your brain and heart fall into a rhythmic, harmonious relationship, beating in a synchronous, ordered wave. When this synchronization happens, the magnetic field generated by your heart expands exponentially. It moves from a state of chaotic resistance to one of powerful, ordered, and harmonious attraction. This unified high-frequency signal, the marriage of intention and emotion, is the only language the quantum field understands. When you are coherent, you are no longer asking the universe for something. You are being the thing. You are broadcasting a powerful, divine frequency that leaves no room for confusion. And the field has no choice but to bend the reality around you to match the internal signal you are emitting. This shift transforms you from a powerless victim of circumstance into a powerful, living magnet. Every element of your external reality is simply a delayed reflection of your internal electromagnetic broadcast. Therefore, if you are dissatisfied with what you are attracting, the low-quality relationships, the repetitive financial struggles, the chronic health issues, you must stop trying to fix the reflection and begin changing the projector. The secret is sustained elevation. It is not enough to think a happy thought for 5 seconds. You must sustain that elevated thought and emotion until it becomes your dominant, unconscious state of being. You must practice feeling whole until you no longer need the outside world to validate that feeling. This constant, high-frequency broadcast is what creates the pathway for true synchronicities to enter your life. It is the only way to tune into the divine signal that matches your highest aspirations, moving you beyond the limitations of the known past and into the infinite potential of the unknown now. We must face the most significant energetic hurdle, the addiction to survival emotions. For most of us, these emotions, the constant rush of cortisol and adrenaline associated with fear, impatience, anger, and blame, have become a familiar, comfortable state. We believe this state of stress is necessary for survival, a protective mechanism. But the paradox is that living in survival mode is the single greatest obstacle to creation and wholeness. When we are stuck in the past, reacting to a memory of pain or predicting a future threat, we are chemically and neurologically driving ourselves into a state of scarcity. Scarcity is not just about lack of money, it is an internal state of being. It is the fundamental belief that something essential is missing, and this belief dictates your magnetic output. When you feel fear, your entire system constricts, your heart rate becomes erratic, your blood vessels tighten, and your electromagnetic field shrinks and becomes dense. This dense, low-frequency energy acts as a shield, pushing away the very opportunities, relationships, and abundance you claim to desire. This is the ultimate energetic disconnect. Think of these survival emotions like competition, judgment, jealousy, and shame as being inherently selfish frequencies. They are all about separation, about me versus them, about what I need to acquire to feel safe. You cannot attract a connected, whole, and loving relationship or a thriving, cooperative environment when you are broadcasting a frequency of separation. The quantum field only knows unity, and if you send a signal of division, you will only attract division and further validate your lack. This is the scarcity loop, where the environment dictates the emotion, and the emotion dictates the response, trapping you in a perpetual cycle of the known past. The shift to wholeness demands that we become bigger than our environment and stronger than our conditioned feelings. It is an act of sovereign will. It requires you to observe the emotion, that rush of anger, that gripping anxiety, without reacting to it. In that moment of observation, you create a space. That space is freedom. In that space, you must consciously choose a new emotion, an elevated state. This is the power of loving yourself first. It is the decision to generate gratitude when your life seems to offer no immediate reason for it. It is the decision to generate joy even when the external circumstance is challenging. These elevated emotions, gratitude, unconditional love, and awe, are the healing frequencies. They do not constrict the heart, they cause it to open and expand. When your heart opens, its magnetic field expands dramatically, moving into an ordered, coherent wave. This is the state of wholeness. Wholeness is the understanding that you lack absolutely nothing. It is the feeling of being inherently complete, worthy, and connected to the infinite potential of the field. When your body is infused with these elevated chemicals, your system moves out of emergency mode and into a regenerative, creative state. You are no longer surviving, you are thriving. This feeling of being whole right now, without waiting for the manifestation, is the key to unlocking your magnetic potential. The work is to stay in that elevated state long enough for the feeling to become dominant, to become a new subconscious program. Every time you successfully choose gratitude over resentment, every time you choose self-love over self-judgment, you are reinforcing a new electromagnetic reality. You are literally pulling the plug on the old scarcity loop and wiring yourself into the limitless abundance of the quantum field. You are becoming a powerful, stable beacon of worthiness, and the people, opportunities, and resources that match that high-level frequency can no longer resist your powerful, magnetic call. We have established the two primary components of your creative signature, the electric thought and the magnetic emotion. Now, the third step is the most critical, the conscious, willful marriage of these two forces into a state we call coherence. Think of coherence as the highest form of self-love, where your mind and heart are not battling one another, one trying to pull you into the fearful past, the other desperate for a hopeful future, but are instead operating in perfect, synchronous harmony. The typical human experience is one of internal incoherence. Your brain may be thinking, I deserve a great relationship, but your heart is still chemically wired to feel the fear of abandonment from a past experience. This conflict creates a noisy, scattered, and canceling signal in the quantum field. You are literally sending two contradictory messages, an electric yes and a magnetic no. The universe always responds to the strongest, most stable signal, which is often the subconscious magnetic field generated by your deeply conditioned emotions of unworthiness or fear. Coherence is the path to silencing this internal chaos and generating a clear, unified, powerful signal of worthiness. To begin the practice of coherence, you must first address the mind. The goal is to move your brainwave activity from the high frequency, erratic waves associated with stress, a high beta, down into the more creative and receptive states, such as alpha or theta. You do this by deliberately slowing down, by focusing your attention, often on a fixed object or simply on the space around you. You stop the incessant analytical noise of the outer world. In this quieter, more ordered brain state, you can hold a clear, focused intention, a lucid image of your desired future life, where you are already whole, loved, and abundant. This is the ordered electric charge. Next, we address the heart. The heart is infinitely more than a pump. It is the generator of your magnetic destiny. To move the heart into coherence, you must deliberately move out of the selfish survival emotions and into the elevated, expansive emotions. Place your hand on your heart and begin to feel gratitude. Don't just think the word, but genuinely feel the warmth, the expansion, the unconditional acceptance. Visualize something you are deeply thankful for, or simply generate the feeling of profound love for yourself. This sustained, elevated emotion instantly changes the heart's rhythm from chaotic and jagged to smooth, rhythmic, and ordered, a sign like wave. This is the ordered magnetic charge. The magic of coherence occurs when you synchronize these two ordered signals. You hold the clear image of your desired future electric signal while simultaneously feeling the elevated emotion of gratitude, love, or Au's magnetic signal. When the brain and heart are synchronized, they create a master frequency. The heart's magnetic field, which is hundreds of times stronger than the brain's electrical field, expands massively and carries the crystalline clarity of your intention out in the quantum field. When you achieve this internal order, the noise stops. You are vibrating as a single, powerful, focused beam of energy that says unequivocally, I am worthy now, I am complete now, I am the love I seek. This state of being, this personal coherence, is the state of true self-love. It is the highest vibrational state you can possibly achieve, and it is the state required to magnetize your best life. When you are coherent, you stop working hard to manipulate the external world and start working internally to maintain your elevated frequency. The external world, which is simply a reflection of your inner state, has no choice but to reorganize itself to match the incredible order and power you are broadcasting. The relationships, the opportunities, and the abundance you desired must now flow to you effortlessly because you have become the electromagnetic match for your highest aspirations. This is the ultimate confrontation with the self the moment you realize the old, familiar self, the one tied to the pain, the lack, and the limitation of the past, cannot enter the future you desire. The future you want exists only in a new electromagnetic reality, and that reality requires a new you. The profound shift is in recognizing that you must stop waiting for your best life to happen to you and start becoming the person for whom that life is an absolute inevitability. This is the core principle of self-love. As a creative force, you cease to seek external validation and you start generating the internal evidence of your worth. The trap most people fall into is the belief that they need evidence from the outside world to validate their new self. They say, when I get the relationship, then I'll feel loved. Or, when I get the money, then I'll feel secure. This model is entirely backwards. By tethering your elevated emotions to an external outcome, you remain a slave to your environment. You are waiting for the known to create the unknown, which is a quantum impossibility. The quantum field only responds to energy, not to begging or needing. To receive the unknown future, you must feel the emotion of that future before the material evidence appears. This is where the powerful, deliberate practice of rehearsal comes into play. Rehearsal is the meditative act of willfully closing the gap between your present reality and your desired future. It requires you to step out of your environment, to disconnect from the stimuli that constantly remind you of the old, limited self, the chair you sit in, the problems on your desk, the people you know, and to enter the quantum space of pure potential. Once there, you combine your clear intention, see your thought of the future with your elevated emotion, the feeling of that future. In your mind's eye, you must vividly and repeatedly run the scenario of your desired life. Feel the profound sense of gratitude for the partner you haven't met yet, the overflowing joy for the success you haven't achieved yet, the quiet confidence of the whole self you are becoming. This is not mere visualization, it is embodiment. You are making the decision to feel the emotion now to signal to your body that the event has already occurred. This consistent, focused inner work is what signals new genes, creates new neural pathways in the brain, and literally updates your biological operating system. You are conditioning your body to memorize a future emotion instead of being addicted to the past one. Every time you practice this, you are destroying old neurological connections linked to the victim identity and wiring in the circuits of the powerful, worthy creator. When you open your eyes, you must hold on to that frequency. When an external challenge attempts to pull you back into fear or scarcity, your body, now chemically and neurologically programmed to the joy and gratitude of your future self, will resist falling back into the old pattern. You are no longer reacting to the known. You are responding from the feeling of the unknown. This practice is the highest expression of self-love because it means you are willing to give yourself the most valuable resource of all, the feeling of wholeness and love, without requiring a single thing from the outside world to justify it. You are stepping into the identity of the future self and maintaining that energy until your external life reflects the new internal blueprint. When you commit to this level of coherence, you are sending a pure, undeniable, and powerful magnetic command into the field that your best life has no choice but to answer after diligently mastering the process of internal transformation. After understanding your electromagnetic field, breaking the addiction to scarcity, achieving heart and mind coherence, and rehearsing the emotion of your future self, you arrive at the ultimate reward, the magnetizing principle. This is the point where the hard work of internal change yields to the effortless flow of receiving, where the universe does the heavy lifting for you. This principle is simply the immutable law of resonance, that which is whole and complete within itself attracts wholeness and completeness from the external world. The foundational shift here is the cessation of seeking. When you operate from the feeling of I lack, your signal is one of constant depletion. But once you have achieved true self-love, which is the recognition and deep feeling that you are inherently worthy, whole, and already possess the essence of what you desire, the hunt ends. You have given yourself the love you were seeking. You have given yourself the security you were chasing. You have given yourself the acceptance you were begging for. In this state of internal sufficiency, your expanded, coherent magnetic field sends a completely new signal completion. The universe cannot give you what you want, it can only give you what you are. When you have completed your own circuit, when you are not looking for someone else to plug into your emotional wall socket, you become a powerful, stable energy source. The relationships that come into your life now are not born of codependence, need, or fear of loneliness. Instead, they are born of complementary energy. You attract people who are also whole, who are also conscious, and who are operating from an elevated frequency, because your magnetic signature simply cannot resonate with anything less. The energy of lack has been permanently replaced by the energy of sufficiency. This principle manifests in your life as synchronicity, the seemingly impossible coincidences where everything falls into place without effort. The job opportunity you didn't apply for calls you. The ideal resource you needed shows up in an email. The right person walks into your life at the precise moment you stop looking. This is not luck, this is the predictable result of an ordered, high-frequency electromagnetic field meeting the infinite order of the quantum field. The universe is merely reflecting the internal order you have created. When your inner house is in order, the external world mirrors that organization. The challenge now shifts from doing to being. Your only job is to maintain the state. Your internal coherence is your shield and your greatest asset. When external events or people who carry the old energy of fear and scarcity attempt to disrupt your frequency, you remain anchored in your worth. You choose not to react to the low-frequency drama. You choose to stay in the feeling of your future self. You choose to stay in love. The moment you drop back into fear or lack, you compress your magnetic field, and the flow of synchronicity stops. The power is in your ability to observe the environment without being defined by it. Embrace the beautiful paradox of the magnetizing principle. The harder you try to force an outcome, the more resistance you create. The more you surrender to the feeling of being whole right now, the more effortlessly the desired outcome flows to you. The art of self-love is the ultimate act of surrender, where you release the limited identity of the past and assume the limitless identity of the Creator, allowing the field to deliver the tangible evidence of your inner wholeness. This, then, is the grand realization, the ultimate conclusion of mastering the art of loving yourself first. It is the moment we stop defining ourselves by the known past and choose instead to be defined by the unknown potential of the future. The entire journey is a cycle of conscious creation that begins and ends with your energetic state. You now understand that your thoughts and feelings are not passive internal commentary. They are the active electric and magnetic charges that create your reality. You have the power, in this very moment, to step out of the chemical addiction to scarcity, to divorce yourself from the old, needy self, and to choose the sublime frequency of wholeness. The path is not effortless, but the results are miraculous. It requires the daily discipline of achieving personal coherence, of intentionally aligning the wisdom of your mind with the expansive power of your heart, until that elevated state becomes the new, unconscious default program. And when you commit to that program, when you are willing to rehearse the emotion of your future self before the physical evidence arrives, you become the living evidence of what is possible. So I invite you now to make the final, powerful shift. Stop chasing, stop begging, stop looking for love, validation, or abundance outside of the most sacred space in the universe, your own heart. When you commit to being the love, the worth, and the abundance you seek, you activate the magnetizing principle. You stop struggling against the universe, and you start flowing with it. Your life transforms from a frantic effort into an elegant masterpiece of synchronicity, where every person, every opportunity, And every joy that enters your field is simply a reflection of the profound and unconditional love you have finally generated for yourself. The moment of creation is not tomorrow, it is not next week. The power is now. Enter the field, elevate your state, and step into the magnificent identity of the whole, coherent self you were always meant to be.